Welcome to Appalachia Fusion. Another great episode going to be in the books today. We got a treat for you all. Those that be watching this, we recently had our sorting festival here in West Liberty, Kentucky. And every time I go, every year, I always get my Walter's Mill white grits. Always. Get about 4 or 5 of them, throw some in the freezer, and they'll keep all year long. And great. You won't find no better ones. So, we're only not going to have grits, but I was wanting a true Southern or Appalachia treat and do some fusion with it today. Just killed some quail on the preserve, raised here locally, free range, hormone free, all that good stuff, good and healthy for you, as they say. And they better be because we're cooking with lard. So, anyways, and cheese and country ham. So, at least we ain't gonna have no antibiotics, right? And we're gonna do some greasy grit green beans, old fashioned. My pal Merle Payton that works with us, and I've worked with him for several years, give me these seeds a few years ago. Grown right here in the mountains all their life. His parents, grandparents grew them and seed from there. So we're gonna start out getting our beans started. These have been pressure canned. I do about 120, 50 quarts a year, last all winter long. And normally, I either use bacon grease or bacon or something like that. So today we're going to use some of this country ham, which come from hams here in Morgan County that 4-H students does. And I'm just going to drop a few pieces in here just for a second to get the flavor come out. It don't take much. You don't want to get them too done. And I got a little water already in there. So, and it smells, you can already smell it. That's good enough. Just get this out. Get all of them out. And this release the oil in it a little bit and make the cooking, make the flavor come out a little bit quicker. We was joking in here, but all seriousness, it does, and I still do, when we get a hog killed, of course, render lard out of it and use it. And they's joking, it says, lard makes it smell old, and it does because, I don't know about y'all, but my grandparents, that's all they ever cooked with was lard. And you go in their house, they fry something, it smell that smell, and it does, it resembles it. So, we got some country ham in there. Just going to open our beans up. Dump them straight out into here. Sometimes it takes a second for them to come all the way out. Okay. This to the side. Throw your lid away. Wash your jar. Save your pan for next year. Recycling today. I'm going to add a little bit of water. We're going to put this on high heat. Add about a tablespoon or a teaspoon of salt on top of it. We'll test them later. Make sure we need to add more salt. We do. And we're going to put them on the stove. Boil them down 2 or 3 times and they're ready to go. They're already cooked because they've been pressure canned. We're just cooking them on down. Just slide this back here and put on my burner. A good story behind that is my grandma taught me how to cook green beans, and when they're fresh, she'd always take her some bacon grease in the bottom of her pan she's cooking them in, get it good and hot, and dump fresh green beans in there, and they turn like bright green, and coat it all in that good bacon fat and all that. And then she'd pour her water in and boil them until they get done several times, and they're good. Add salt, but I can't make green beans like her. So next we're going to the quail. I want to set this to the side because we don't need to contaminate this. And we'll use that ham with the grits and stuff later. So, I'll tell you a story on the quail in a minute. Let me grab a couple things here. Get our bread and a pan full of that because this gets messy. Get our bowl with our egg wash and stuff on it. And I got a hot sauce here somewhere. Use your hot sauce of choice. I really like Crystal Louisiana, good flavor. It's not real hot, and it does well. So, if you can see these pretty quail, get this out of the way. Make us some room here. Oh. Anyhow, These were just recently harvested, like I said. I worked my dogs. We're getting ready to go up north grouse hunting, so I like running my bird dogs there at the house. Y'all have seen some of them before on other show. And getting them kind of vamped up, hyped up, ready for birds, and, just kind of letting them get in the mood of it. And so I saved them. We got 8 quail, and that's what the recipe calls for. Just wash them good and clean them good. So normally I'll put them in a pan like this. Most of them turned out good. One of them I shot up a little more than I like, but it's still edible. That one right there, you can see, it's a little more action on it. Take this back and just lay in the sink. You don't need none of that mess no more. So to this, and Kentucky kernel flour, lard, buttermilk, and egg wash. That's what we got here. We're going to add a little hot sauce to the quail. And it won't make it hot, it just soaks. It just gives you a little more flavor. You won't notice heat at all. That, and we got just a little bit of pepper that we want to add to it. Simple, the Kentucky kernel flour is seasoned really well. And you don't need a whole lot. Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of salt and just sprinkle on them like that. You want to season your meat is what I was getting at. Because if a coating falls off or does come off, and it will, it happens to the best of us. And, your meat don't have no flavor if you don't season it. It's just in the coating. So I like to season the meat and the coating. That way when you eat it, you got a good flavor with everything. So we flip these over, and we're going to do the same thing right here. A little hot sauce. A little pepper. Freshly ground pepper. I prefer freshly ground pepper. You want that, and has a little much on it, so we'll spread it out. You don't want to take a bite and it'll be all pepper. So that's not good. So okay, there's our pepper. Like I said, a little salt on this side. Quail seasoned up. I'm gonna move them around, shake them around a little bit, just to spread out the seasoning and everything on them. Make sure it ain't all in one place. Now we can do this a couple different ways. Later in the year, we're going to do some stuffed quail, so we won't get into that. And that's why I left them like that, because I was debating on which way I'm going to cook them today. And I decided to fry them with cheese grits. Sometime this year, we're going to do some apple cornbread stuff and baked quail. And I was debating between the two. So I leave them whole like that, and I would stuff the cavity, tie them up, maybe even throw a piece of bacon on them, bake them. But today, we are going to fry them. So I would take a pair of snips. You want to go right up the backbone. This just helps them fry quicker. I just want to show y'all how I do this. I cut the backbone completely out. Well, shears ain't working. So, okay, I'll cut those out. We'll throw them to the side. And if you want to just do the breast with this, you can too. I like leaving some bone on it and stuff because it just fries a little better. And the legs actually don't have a tremendous amount of meat, but it is good. So we'll take a second here. We only got 8 of them. This just helps them fry a little quicker. If I was baking them and stuffing them, like I said, I would leave. I'd leave them whole, just stuff the cavity. We'd put them in a dish, bake them, put extra dressing around them, and they'd be good. So, I don't know if y'all have ever eat quail out there. If you don't have access to someplace to get them or kill them in the wild, we go Kansas hunt them also. You can buy quail. Sometimes Kroger has them, or specialty markets will have them, so that's an option. You might be able to order them online. You can order anything online and have it next day now. This one might tear apart on us. This is one I said that got a little extra pellets. It's in its way. Or I may have shot a little too close to. Okay, that one's done. I always get excited in the fall time of year. Temperatures start cooling down. Quail, start training dogs, working them. That means hunting trips are coming up, heading up north to Wisconsin or out west to Kansas or somewhere. Duck season's getting ready to come in. And, that's how we was raised in Appalachia. Most people it's changed recently, but, you go out and hunt for your food, kill it, process it yourself, and just throw these away. You don't need those. And come back and cook a good meal. Whatever is around you is what you eat, because that's what you had. Especially, don't get me wrong, now we can hop in a vehicle and go get what we want to. You can be at KFC in 30 minutes if you want to. But back then, you didn't have that option. So if you found something good to eat, you killed it, preserved it, canned it, or salt, cured it, or whatever. I don't want this to be a heavy, battered dish. So we're going to lightly coat it, and I'm going to break them on down like that, where they're laying more flat when I put them in there in a minute. So we'll do it two different ways to show you all the difference. Sometimes I just do it this way, and I don't even use the egg wash. And then sometimes I'll just put buttermilk overnight in with the quail and let them soak. That kind of, if you don't like the gamey taste, which quail don't have a big gamey taste, it kind of takes that away from it, the buttermilk does. So, and we may just do them just like this. We may not even end up using the egg wash. So I always put them in and turn them away from me like that, so you don't splatter yourself with oil. But we'll do a couple, that way you see the difference in them. The green beans are boiling. Y'all out there help me keep eye on them so they'll boil over. So flatten this one out too. We're going to be able to fit half of them in here pretty easy, and then we'll do them. I got what y'all didn't see. We'll do 4 like this and 4 battered. I already put a pan in the oven to keep these warm when they get fried. That way they stay warm till we get ready to eat them after grits and green beans get done. It don't take too awful long for quail to cook, probably 8-10 minutes total, be done. That's why the oven is on actually 200, so they just stay warm, because they're going to be pretty much done when we put them in there. I don't know. I think I can get a couple more. So let's just do a couple this way. This just puts a little bit thicker coating on them, but I won't let it sit over to the side for a minute. This one will just, the one that was shot up bad, we'll just batter it. We'll just fry it like that. This is good. Cook it in cast iron or whatever, be fine. I'm just using this. As you all know on this show, I like to use this kind of fryer to cook with, to deep fry. Okay, so these other 3 that's left, we're going to just let them soak in that for a minute. I'm going to be dirty, so I'm going to stay dirty till I get this done. And then I'll wash up a minute. I'm going to sprinkle just a little bit of this seasoning on them, or the flour. Then I'm going to put them down in there in a minute. This kind of helps get a little coating on them to start with. Wash my hands, I'll be right there. Beans are doing great. Quail's frying up. And if y'all can see these out there, let me move these grits and cheese over a little bit. They're frying up fine. Let them fry. Don't be messing with them, because the more you mess with them, move them around, more of the coating liable will fall off. So I kind of just let them sit there and fry on one side, and I'll turn one over in a minute. Let that get on them good. I love some fried quail. Anything. That's kind of like I've said before, raised on wild game, so I like about any of it. This is one of the first ones we put in there, so we're going to flop it over. Let the breast side be frying. We'll let the rest of these sit here for a few more minutes. Turn up just a hair, because the temperature always goes down when you put meat in it. Mama, she used to always, she didn't have quail or rabbit. She'd fry chicken like this in the morning, make gravy and biscuits, stuff with it. Such a good meal. So the grits, I don't know if y'all knew it or not, but if you didn't know William Waters, and he's been at Sorghum Festival for years, man, he does grits and cornmeal, and Fannon's over there usually has it pretty much year round till they sell out. And I mean, it's just outstanding. Homegrown, local here. You don't need to go someplace to get it. $2 a bag. I mean, dirt cheap. And I'll show you later, but he even puts instructions on how to cook them inside there. So, I mean, you're set. Go and get them. You got recipe. We're just going to spruce them up. I like regular grits. And a lot of times they're just cooked with butter, salt, pepper, and stuff like that. But these we're going to spice up a little bit. So we want to keep frying these up like that. And I'm just going to set these over in this corner now, and we'll get started on those. This one's going to be all kinds of different shapes, because he didn't come in there with the best circumstances. The rest of them I actually did alright with. So anyhow, let them sit there and fry. I want to use tongs. I don't want to get all that all over me again. And we're just going to dust these, get these up good. These have a little bit thicker coating on them than the other ones did. So we're going to put that in there. It don't matter if you put them sideways or whichever way. I mean, they'll be fine. They'll fry. That way y'all have an idea about a couple different ways. If you don't like a lot of breading, do them the first way. If you like a little breading, do them this way. And if you like them a little extra breading, I'll show you how to do that too. Take it, put it back in your mixture again, drop it straight in your flour as quick as you can. It's like a double coating, because you've already put flour, egg wash on it again. Now you're putting flour and egg wash on it the second time. You just want to make sure you coat it really good. So we're going to fry these up. We're going to clean our station up, and when you come back, these will be in the oven getting warm. We'll shoot another shot here in a minute, show you what this side looks like. Then we'll transfer them in, come back, we'll be making grits and wrapping all this up later. So the quail's pretty much fried. We had a cast iron skillet in the oven, and we're kind of just keeping them warm and keeping them heated through. So you could, and it's hot. Let's flip this around like this. So I want to put these on first, and I hope y'all can see these quail. Just slightly fried like that. We'll just arrange these in there as close as we can get them together. It'll be fine if they overlap a little bit or whatever. No, it's no big deal. They're cooked. So we're going to do that. Oh. Put them in there so they can finish cooking up. Now, if you can see the difference, these are lightly coated. This is just old-fashioned frying. I could dip them and throw them in the deep fryer and got them all crispy and like we've done before, but this is just old-fashioned lard frying on the stove top like they'd have done. And that's just how they did it. And if you can see, this one's got a little more coating and stuff on it like that. We had one quail egg that's trying to get loose on us. So we'll put these up right just like that, and they'll finish crisping a little more in the oven. And that's fine. So if you can see the difference in the ones that's double coated compared to the ones that was just single layer. We're going to put a little Cajun seasoning on them like that. Throw them in the oven. Keep them warm. Finish cooking through. That's it. We're going to start on grits in a minute. Green beans are cooking down. Exactly what you want to see. By the time the grits get done, everything will be ready to plate up. Before we change out, we want to use some country ham in our grits, but we want it crispy. So just throw it right down here. Fry it up in this lard. We probably won't use all this in our grits, but we'll use it in something. We'll just eat it if we don't. So just let that fry around till it crisps up pretty good. It don't take too long because it's thin. This add another layer of texture to the grits and give it a little bit of salty flavor, a little more flavor. What it do. And this is a ham that we had sliced, and this is like the end pieces, scrap pieces, and you can use it for seasoning. I usually take them and put in a Ziploc bag or a freezer bag, throw them in the freezer, and every time I cook beans or something like that, I'll take some out and use it for seasoning. And you may want to have your heart doctor close by when you eat this meal. This is, if you're on a diet and all that, it's probably not the best meal to eat. But as you can see, I like to eat, so I'm gonna give it a tackle here in a little bit. But if you're on a cheat meal, this would be excellent. Just saying. But this just brings back a lot of good memories from trips down south. Good grits. I mean, northern people eats polenta, southern people eats grits. You figure out the difference and get back with me. But true grits are really, really good. I love them. They're a good breakfast staple too, with some bacon and eggs, plain grits, butter and salt. We're just kicking it up a little notch tonight. I can't believe this already makes the 5th episode of Appalachia Fusion. By the time you all watch this, it'll be number 5. Don't get me wrong, number 4-ish is a little Talking with Hunters for the Hungry, or whatever order they become in. We'll have one with Hunters for the Hungry that y'all have already seen. And it is, like we spoke last week, good organization going to help people in Appalachia. And we also, that is a really good little meal we made with that little caprese deer salami, simple. You'll see it. You've already seen it by now probably. But try that out. That'd be good. And just because you don't have deer pastrami, I'm on something else, deer salami or summer sausage, use beef. Get you some pork. Make it, you don't have to have deer. It could work with anything. I don't know, but I could eat those. I could just take like a fork and just start eating them. Crispy little strips of country ham. I'm going to try getting them all out. I'm using a fork instead of a spoon, so. But it's working. About got them. We're going to turn this off because we're done with this, period. We will not need this no more. So, okay. These are yummy. Very, very good. Come back, we're going to be making cheese grits.
You can have full control of your network with MRTC Total Command. This feature enhances your internet experience right at your fingertips. Worry less about online threats with included virus protection. Choose the sites your children visit and limit their screen time with parental control features. Manage smart devices at the touch of a button. You get all this for just $9.95. Plus, we will upgrade your router at no extra cost. Now that's Wi-Fi Advantage.
So I got my William Walters grits, and those that's afraid to make grits, I've never made it. I don't have a recipe. Guess what? William takes care of it. He's got your recipe right here. For 2 servings, it's 1 cup of water, 4 tablespoons of grits. We need 24 tablespoons of grits because of that recipe. So there's 1. Y'all help me count. No. 2. Yeah. So that's done. Let me set this over here to the side up here. And this is we already got the water to the boil. And you just, once it gets to the boil and you add the grits, you get it down to simmer and you constantly got to keep it stirred. They'll thicken up, they'll cook. And then when they get down to the end, that's when we'll add our cheese. So I have some salt. I know y'all think I'm crazy, but every time I say salt, I think of the Jimmy Buffett Live album when they're doing Margaritaville. Salt, salt, salt. Some of y'all get that out there, Jimmy Buffett fans. So add a little salt flavor. That's good. You can always add a little extra. And it's simmering, boiling, and you'll do this for about 10-12 minutes for 1 serving, 12 to 15 minutes simmer. And just keep them stirred. Grits in slowly simmer 10-15 minutes, stirring them occasionally. And when these get close to the end, we're going to add our Gouda cheese. So let's look at this right now. We got smoked Gouda cheese, fresh fried crispy country ham, grits, green onions, some awesome fried quail, and some greasy green beans. Appalachia fusion all over it. What can you say? So let's get some cheese. If you grate it, it just melts quicker. So we'll start out with 1 block. When we go to the second one, we will. Just to get it where it melts in there pretty good in a little bit. I love some grits. Y'all have already heard that, but I do. A lot of places, it's like sushi. The first time I tried sushi, I absolutely hate it. But I got in a Chinese buffet, and it wasn't a good Chinese buffet. I ain't saying Chinese buffet can't make good sushi, but the one I originally tried it at was not no good. So I was like, I can't believe people eat this. And I'm not picky on food. So a year or 2 later, I give it another shot. We was at a decent Japanese steakhouse. Sat down, they had a sushi bar, and I loved it. I mean, like, wow. I was like, yeah, I totally shouldn't judge stuff. Grits the same way. chances are if you bought your grits at Cracker Barrel, you're not going to like them. No offense to Cracker Barrel or some of them, they just ain't kindly. That's not their forte. They just cook them. But if you've been down south to a mom and pop restaurant and you've got some good southern grits, then you know what I'm talking about. It's a whole different ballgame. And I'm not saying nothing against a restaurant chain or anything like that. It's just when you specialize and you cook like Mama did, it's going to be good. When you just throw it in recipe, then there's a big difference in it. So, anyways, look at this. I think we got a meal right here. Just crispy country ham with smoked Gouda cheese. I mean, what else could you want? Give our grits a stir. Keep them from sticking. And all you're doing is rehydrating the grits. Cooking them, getting them soft, and getting them... Because grits, of course, is dried corn. Just a coarser... Said cornmeal, it's just ground a little coarser. We're going to garnish with some green onions. So we'll just... While we got everything out, we'll go ahead and finish prepping here while our grits are still cooking. Who don't like some good green onions? So we're going to have some fun. We're getting in the fall time of year. We're going to do something with sorghum here in a week or two. I haven't fully decided. I think we might fry up some pork chops and make some kind of sorghum sauce, or I don't know. We'll do something fun. I got some good sorghum. Better turn that down. This volcano on me. Starting to erupt out of there. Hot grits, burns. So we'll get that more on down to the simmer like it should have been. Maybe turn it on down. So my hot plate minute has love-hate relationship. And we got a new one. And I think it's going to be great. It's a gas one. But this one sometimes loves me, sometimes it hates me. Today it's showing a little love. It's working good. And it's not that, it's kind of like the pots you use sometimes on those. They got to get a good connection with it to work really good. Anyhow, you don't want them real big pieces, because we're mostly going to garnish with this in a minute. But I like green onions in my grits. So I mean, that just looks great. I don't know if we can see this really good, but you can tell now that how the grits are starting to thicken up. Some people put sugar in grits, but sugar don't belong in grits. It's not hardly bad as a debate in sugar and cornbread, because I like it both ways, because I just like cornbread. But some people swear if you eat sugar and cornbread, you're eating a corn cake, not cornbread. I don't know. I've eaten it both ways, and I just like me some good cornbread with a crispy bottom and hot butter, and I'm good. So we'll get these stirred up, and I didn't set my timer, but I can tell when they're done. I've cooked enough of them. Let's walk over here, and let's check our green beans. Let's get looking at those again. They're about cooked down. We might add just a touch more water. I want to taste them in a minute for salt. I just scoop me a little bit out. Don't be a hater. Season good. Let's add a little water to them. Keep them from burning until everything else gets done. Let them keep cooking. It's not going to hurt nothing. So I'm not a real big salt eater, but they're fine with me with a country ham, because we're going to have that and everything else. We don't eat a lot of salt at home, so you won't see me using, I guess the Cajun season is my substitute for salt, because it does have quite a bit of salt. Most of them does. Grits are getting closer. I mean, I wasn't growing up on grits at all. I didn't eat grits till me and Julie moved to Florida. Never did have them in my life, period, at all. Never even knew what a grit was. But when you live in Florida and you got good friends, First restaurant I went to had tomato gravy, and we made that a long time ago, a lot of episodes ago. Grits is a buffet breakfast bar. Had grits, tomato gravy, biscuits, all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, I eat all of it. I was like, oh man, I wish I've always eat these. And there's someone's mama back there making grits, and they's good. I'm going to keep cooking these down. We've already added a little salt for taste. Like I said, we're going to be eating everything with them, so you don't need to season them a whole lot. Well, that's just some pretty grits. I want to actually grab me a spoon here. Let's see where we're at with them. Got me again. We better turn it on down. Just another minute or two and we'll add cheese. And you can use different kinds of cheese. Shrimp and grits, which we made on here before. You can, some people like some with cheese, some without. But if you need, like, when you do the shrimp, make like a Cajun, like the Cajun barbecue shrimp we made before on here. It has a little sauce, some kind of sauce to add to them a little bit, gives them a little more flavor. If you eat them like cheese grits, and then they got the cheese flavor, it'll be fine. Another couple minutes, we'll add cheese. Let them heat back there. So y'all can see those. Go see William. Go and find Sarah over there at the produce stand and get you some grits or some good cornmeal. And we're going to add a big part of this cheese. Just stir that in and see where we come at with it. We'll save some, just put right on top too. Just a little bit more. We won't need the other block. Jonathan, he'll find something to do with it after a while. By the way, Jonathan, I know he's the one that sticks all of us together, and him and Andy and Jonathan gets all this going. But tell you what, he's a fine cook. Next time he's making pizza, I'm going to find my way from Blaze up to Wrigley. If he don't wait too late to send me a picture. It's a fine looking pizza. Sure was. Like, wow. He's made several things I've seen on Facebook. It looks pretty good. So I am going to, since I've already used that spoon, I want to stick it back in there. I want to stick this one in there. I really do work to try to get the cheese to the consistency I want. So, oh my goodness, they were wonderful. Good. Good smoked cheese flavor. It's good. I'm letting them stiffen up just a hair. We're going to eat. And that's great little cheese for garnish for other plates. But that Gouda, that smoked Gouda comes good there. Not in a strong way either, just a hint. You can taste the cheese and smokiness of it. I mean, this is a pretty easy dish, and if you don't have quail, make it with fried chicken. You got some chicken, throw in there chicken breast or chicken tin. I mean, just, you can adapt to what you have. That's what we always done in Appalachia. You always adapt to what you have around you. We're ready to plate up. I'm going to leave this here, so I'm bring the quail over here. Set that right there. Turn this back down a minute. Let's grab our green beans right here. got place for them. Our handy dandy serving tray ready. And dun dun dun. We got us some fried quail. Cha-ching. A little more seasoning. A little bit over your shoulder. Good luck. So, probably would be the best thing would put these in a bowl and scoop it out. So we won't put them all in there, but we're gonna make it look pretty. So I'm going to, actually, we got the thing right there. So I'm gonna put me a little bit out like that. We'll only put a couple in there. We want to look good. That way we can just dip it out and eat it a little bit. So I want to take one of each of these. We'll try to. This one right here is pretty. So let's just put it on there like that. Let's get one of these just battered up really good. Let's just get them all out. Let's do this. Let's make it look pretty anyways. We'll throw some more grits in the middle of them in a minute. This ain't your mama's fried chicken, but it might be your mama's quail. I mean, you know, this is comfort all over to me as a Southern Appalachia. I call myself a Southern boy. I know I'm Kentucky, but I still at heart consider myself a Southern food boy. Let me rephrase that. So we're going to do that. Just put this back over here out of our way so I don't burn myself on it. So let's put this like this. Let's add us another little bit of grits, not much more, but a little bit. Put it right in the pond in the middle there. Okay. Good enough. So let's add a little extra Gouda cheese right on top. Just like that. Our country ham topping. Crispy country ham. A little more for extra measure here. Little green onions. And then of course, my favorite bean. Put this little country greasy grit beans right up front here. Myself, sir, you have a meal to die for right here. Greasy grit beans, country fried grilled cheesy, smoked Gouda grits with crispy fried country ham, green onions, a little bit of Gouda cheese, and just dig in. Appreciate y'all to another episode of Appalachia Fusion, where we went from the mountains of Appalachia to down into the south with some grits. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, always go to MTTV on the website. Look up where the food is. Scroll down, go to MTTV. They have food. Click on it, and it'll say past episodes on, I think, a YouTube channel, something like that, and then they have recipes. Click, and you can see my buddy David in the kitchen. Val up in Valhalla. I think it's right. Forgive me, Val, if it's not. I think it's right. And then some of my episodes, and you know, we're getting a great group here going, and so just check us all out. I appreciate my sponsor, MTTV, for allowing me to do this and fun, and also thank the awesome camera crew and lead people we have, that Jonathan leads us up and gets us going, and Andy, and we can't do this without everybody. We appreciate y'all. Thanks for tuning in. Till next time, we'll be cooking up here in Appalachia Fusion.